Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the movie that you're making me watch today, movie podcast. The movie you're making me watch today is The Fountain, 2006, directed by Jake?
Darren Aronofsky? Darren Aronofsky.
Darren Aronofsky.
Noam Chomsky.
What is your word, Jake, for The Fountain? Or is it a phrase? Is your phrase, it should have been the wrestler?
I had a couple words, but I'll go with, for namesake, golden.
You gonna say golden?
Golden.
That's your word?
Yes. For now.
Maybe.
Loop back. I'll do another one after you guys go.
Oh, you got another
What's
one?
your word,
Go for it. Hit us with the second one.
Yeah, what's your second word? It's got to be better than your first one.
Timeless.
Damn. That's a good one.
All
I'm just gonna go heavy.
right. Yeah, sure.
It's a think piece.
A thinker. I'm going to say
Is your word-
thinker.
Your word's thinker.
Yeah.
All right.
This movie's a thinker.
I can dig it.
Before we move on from the words, what the hell does golden mean?
The color palette.
Okay.
I'm
The
golden.
movie was very golden colored.
That's
That
true.
was it. It was a play on my name. That was all. I
Oh,
tried to
yeah,
be funny,
got it.
and I didn't, and I wasn't funny. Sorry for the lack of funny.
Check this out.
No. What's that? Is that some sort of fancy lighter for those who are
What?
listening? Interesting.
It's just a lighter holder.
Is
So
it just?
it's
Is there
dog.
just like a bic in there? Oh, is
This
it a dog?
is Zelda, and it's a lighter holder so that you never lose your lighter.
Okay. Is it easy to smoke a bowl with that thing?
You just take this out and put it back in.
What if you forget to put it back
Small
in?
one? It's a small lighter?
Little guy.
All right, rock and roll.
I think it's stupid.
Using dogs to smoke
Okay.
bowls. Savage.
I'll never lose a lighter, that's for sure.
I think it's
All
stupid.
right.
Freddie
Noam
always uses
Chomsky.
lighters.
I'm glad we didn't move on for that one. All
right.
Before we move
Fou-
on,
Aronofsky's sixth best movie by my count.
Name your top
Perhaps.
5 Aronofskys.
All right. Number 1 is Black Swan. Number 2 is Requiem for a Dream. Number 3 is The Fighter.
you mean the
four-
wrestler?
I'm sorry, yeah, The Wrestler. Number 4 is Mother. Number 5 is Pie. And number
Wait,
6 is
do you
Ghost.
mean mother?
Yes.
Okay.
Those are the top Aronofskys. No argument.
No argument? Why wouldn't you
No
want to
arg-
argue that?
Because you can't. It's facts.
It's one of these situations where Schwartz's opinion is fact again.
No, that's funny. What do you guys think is Aronofsky's best movie?
I don't know. This is one of those movies that started making me think: is Aronofsky overrated? Is he like a fucking Nolan?
wow.
Kind of reminded me. I liked this movie still, but I feel like I liked it a lot more when I saw it 10 years ago.
I'm not gonna
When I
lie, I
was
had the
younger.
exact opposite reaction. I liked it a lot
Really?
more than I watched it yesterday.
I still appreciate parts of it, and I think I even got another sort of thought and perspective from this new round. But it's not a bad movie. There's just a lot to it. It's very melodramatic, and
I agree
gotta
with
be in the
you
right mood for
on the
it.
Nolan thing, yes and no, meaning that I think yes, he's like Nolan and that he's got a very singular vision. His movies are definitely his own, and that like maybe not saying he's the only one who can make that movie, but you definitely know it's an Aronofsky movie. And I'd say not like Nolan because Nolan's very lighthearted and Aronofsky's very opposite of that.
Yeah, I was more so thinking like the movies look cool, but they're overly complicated, and sometimes they're overly
What do you mean by
they're overly
lighthearted?
complicated for their own good.
What I mean by lighthearted is at the end of the day, Christopher Nolan's not making dark subject matter movies. His movies are PG-13 or lower. He's not really going for the jugular. He's not making movies that are making like
But he
like
still
crazy
makes pretty
statements.
heavy movies. They're not
heavy,
like-
sure, heavy in the fact that you makes you think, yeah, but his movies are still very lighthearted.
Yeah, well, I've kind of noticed the theme with Aronofsky's movies. They're about obsession. Like
Oh, yeah.
every character and every main character in every movie is like obsessed with something or other. And this one, for example, was like him obsessed with saving his wife or finding eternal life
Yeah.
in that matter.
which I actually really liked that about this movie. I forgot that it had the two subplots with the conquistador and the guy floating around in the giant circle with the tree in it. I honestly didn't remember any of that.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
left
'cause
some.
there's
of that
three
kinda open.
storylines going
Yeah.
on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and but I mean, obviously, they're all connected through one way or another. What I think the two, it's debatable how the future storyline really comes into play, because some would think that the future storyline's like the main perspective, and he's
And by
flashing back
future, you mean
the guy
him
that's floating around
in
in space. Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, isn't the conquistador part just in her book? Is not only thing
Yes,
in her book.
that's
Yeah.
for sure her
I
book. That's the
didn't
part
really
she
see
wrote.
this as like three timelines as much as three independent stories that were all the
Connected
same story.
somehow?
Well, it
Yeah.
was all the same story. It was a guy obsessing over something to the point where he's overlooking the thing that he's trying to save. Essentially, a conquistador's trying to save Spain, and he's going all out and like just get he's not doing it in like a I guess like a good way or whatever. The queen was like, you need to chill, and he's like, no, I'm gonna fucking do this until I die. And then him trying to figure out whatever ailment his wife had, how to solve that, to the point where he never saw his wife, never hung out with her. It's like Jake said, it's obsession to the point of and but what was and he was obsessing in the future quote unquote scene about
He was trying to getting that
right
star, getting that
whatever.
dying star, or the
Yeah,
nebula.
the
Yeah.
awe.
Yes.
Yeah.
the awe.
This movie's weird. I feel like
It's
it's
super weird.
it's like knockoff Cloud Atlas.
Kinda. I mean, Cloud Atlas is much more
Not as good.
complicated, honestly.
Well, is future Jackman, is he the same Jackman as the present day Jackman? Maybe that Jackman discovered eternal life, because he was all like, I'm going to find a cure for death. I'm going to find a cure for death. And he always obsesses with that. And then after his wife eventually dies at the end, he plants that seed in the grave, and that tree, that's the tree that it's essentially the wife. So it's them dying together so they can become one at the end.
Wait, what?
So that's what
Yeah, I
that's what the
don't
future
know.
shit is.
I don't know. This is the thing about this movie is that's your opinion, and I don't know if that's true.
True.
probably
It's up
true,
to interpretation.
But it is up to interpretation. I listened to Aronofsky talk about this movie, and everybody was like, "What does it mean? What is it about?" He's like, "This
They
movie's a
as fuck
Rubik,
about
this
it.
movie is a Rubik's cube, and it's up to you to solve it. I'm not going to tell
See,
you."
and I listened to a few interviews with him about this movie too, which made me go along with Jake's. I don't think he thought as deeply in this movie as the audience do, and that's probably
100%.
very common now that I like saying that out loud. Probably pretty common for the artist to make something and then fans to interpret it a billion different ways. But it just didn't seem like he didn't put the thought into that movie that the fans do.
Well, I don't
And
know
that kind
about
of made
that.
me think like, well,
This is-
did he even did what like what did he know what the movie was about, or did
Yeah,
he
well,
understand?
It was about life and death and trying to come to terms with that everything in your life is going to end. The things that you love are going to end. You're going to end. And someone
Yeah.
trying to be obsessed with trying to figure out how to stop it. That's what this movie's about. Like
That's what it follows about.
But what actually
But
happens?
the thing is that what's going on with the fucking this is the big giant tree raindrop in the sky. I have no idea what the fuck that's about. The conquistador part is the most interesting part of the movie. I loved every part of that. That was
And
super
that's
fun.
just her book. That's just her book basically explaining her feelings toward what her husband is doing in the real life.
Sure. And
Yeah.
if you look at Aronofsky's movies, they all have the undertone of religion or life and death or the darkness that's within people. Like that's he explores that in every single thing that he does. I mean, Requiem for a Dream was one of the most visceral movies I think I've ever seen. He did it pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
Overrated.
No, that
I
movie's
think
incredibly good.
it's effective. It's not that great of a movie, but it's very effective for what it
Requiem.
does. Yeah.
And
The
for
thing,
the
thing
that it
about
came
the
out,
thing
too.
about Requiem though, and it maybe even more than any one of his movies except for Mother, is that it's definitely a singular vision. Like I don't think anybody else could have made that movie. Like that is a very planned out, very
It's a drug movie.
very meticulous movie. Yeah, you're right. It's a drug movie that's done way better than any other drug
It's a
movie I've
wild
ever
movie.
seen.
It's a good movie.
Aside for maybe fucking Train Spotting. Train Spotting is the only movie that really compares to it in any way.
Yeah, doesn't that movie make you want to try heroin?
No, but it's very, very well done.
Train Spotting, yes. Requiem, not so much.
Yeah, Requiem's a fucking horror movie, dude.
Yeah.
What's her name in that movie? The chick who plays the Ellen Bernstein, the doctor in this, his boss. She's so fucking good at Requiem.
I thought that was in the mom.
That is the mom, but in this movie, it's the boss. She's his boss.
Oh, yeah, same lady.
Same. All right, so what's it about, Jake? Let's let the people know.
Well, we kind of already got into it a little bit. Here's what I think it's about. I think it's about a spaceman. Now, just hear me out. I think it's about a man in space. No, here's what I think it's about. I think it's about a guy whose wife is dying, and he is essentially trying to save her. So he's a doctor. He's doing all these experiments on a monkey actually, and trying to find a cure for this specific cancer that his wife has.
It's like Hubert or something.
There's a couple of monkeys, aren't there? Doesn't
No,
he
I
like
think
keep
just the one?
every
Well,
every time he goes every time he goes into
one.
his place, he's like prep the new subject, prep the new subject.
Yeah.
He killed like 5 monkeys in this
Yeah.
movie.
Well,
I'm
no,
a
he
fan of
actually
animal
they were
testing.
saving a lot of monkeys.
Yeah.
The tumor just wasn't shrinking, and that's why and so he didn't think that was a success, even though he was extending the lives and saving them, that the actual tumor wasn't going away. The growth, they kept calling it.
Yeah.
Which also they were not specific on like what the sickness was. I'm not sure it was necessary, but everything was very vague.
It was. You're very right. It seemed to be a cancerous thing. I don't know if they
It
ever
could be a
used the word cancer, but it seemed
growth.
very implying of cancer.
Growth is a tumor.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing that pissed me off about this movie more than anything was the way that Hugh Jackman's character was reacting to his wife, and every time she said something. Like, I get that he didn't want her to die, and I get that he was frustrated, and I get that he was really, really working hard to do what he had to do, but he was treating her like a fucking asshole. Like, he really was.
I think that's the whole point of the.
Yeah, she was certainly.
Well, you're right. It's to cherish your time.
Because he felt like she was giving up. I think that was his perspective. Because she was very accepting of the fact that she was dying, and it seemed to upset him every time she joked around about it. Because he was so obsessed with saving her, and he just he wouldn't let go. Yeah. And she seemed that she was
he was
okay
selfish.
with it.
He was being selfish.
Definitely.
Shellfish.
Fucking spoiler alert. He ends up fucking finding the cure after she's dead. That was pretty crazy.
Oh yeah.
That guy, I didn't remember that either. I was like, damn, dude, this is crazy. You know, this movie was originally supposed to be made with Brad Pitt and Kate Blanchett, and it never happened.
Yeah, it was gonna be twice as much budget too. It was gonna be like 70 million instead of it got cut to like 30 or something.
My theory was he just kind of made up a dumb story for his wife.
No, this movie was thought of way before he was married to Rachel Weisz.
You know what else is a singular vision that we were watching today? This is Doubtfire. That's a fucking good movie.
Chris Columbus, baby.
There's what other, I mean, there are other cross-dressing movies, but like, is that the best one?
Well, I mean, Tootsie's probably takes the top, but
I don't know, man. I don't think so. Not in my book.
In my book, it's definitely Mrs. Doubtfire because Robin Williams gives one of the best performances of his career in that movie. So I'm with you on that. But I mean, singular vision, I don't know about that. I think there could have been a lot of other directors could have made that movie the same way, just as good.
Yeah.
But it's a great movie.
It's
so good.
Joe Dante.
Movie.
Is it Joe Dante or is it Chris Columbus?
It's Chris Columbus.
I always miss those guys up.
Are you sure? I think it's Dante.
No, it's Chris Columbus. Joe Dante didn't make much after Gremlins.
I just watched Only the Lonely.
What's that about? Never even heard of it.
Chris Columbus.
Oh.
John Candy movie.
Good movie?
Great flick. Not early 90s kind of love story. Fat guy meets a skinny girl, falls in love. Makes her laugh, falls in love. Story of our lives.
People don't forget.
All right. So let me tell you what I think it's about.
Yeah.
And then Schwartz, you can tell us what you think it's about.
All right.
Yeah, because it's hard to break down this movie linearly. Yeah.
In Buddhism, isn't reincarnation a thing?
Yes, that's what Buddha's all about, I think.
So there was some pretty heavy Buddhist symbology,
Yeah.
symbolism. I think
Wasn't the dude in the
symbolism.
wasn't his being in the giant raindrop pretty much a Buddhist thing?
Yeah, I feel
seem
like
like a
that,
monk,
like a very kind of Alex Gray
Oh, sure.
visualizations of
I
him,
thought
like,
about Tool a
in
lot
the
during
lotus
this movie.
position.
Yeah.
Especially in the very end when he was like being lifted up to the awe, enlightened, I guess.
Mhm.
That's what he is. That's what he is what we're seeing, the, I guess, afterlife of him in the next to the tree. And
Or that's the actual life, man. He could have.
or
He
you just let me
could have
finish
invented
my
it. Sorry.
opinion. and
Sorry.
you-
Go on.
and he is, every time he gets a new idea, or just shows up again, he eats a little part of that tree. That sends him back to the earth, the world, where he is able to try again. And then he
Wait,
fails.
you're saying that when he eats that tree, he goes back to when he's trying to save his wife?
Yeah. It seems like that's kind of
Okay.
what was happening, right? He was
Okay.
like, all right, I like it almost seemed to me like he figured something else out. And he was like, okay. And he like, let me go back and try this one. So he eats the tree of life. He gets sent back to this world in his meat sack of earth, and he tries again and fails again, and then tries again and fails again. And that's probably an infinite cycle we're seeing of his life up there until he gets it right. And that's enlightenment in Buddhism, right?
Groundhog Day in space.
Yeah. GHDNS.
That's sick.
I never thought of it like that, but I think that's a good interpretation
Kinda.
of it. I think
Yeah,
I don't
I
hate
dig
it.
that.
I don't hate it.
I don't feel I
And then the
finished mine.
conquistador thing is just, it's just her story. It's
Yeah.
just another allegory of what he's doing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Go ahead, finish yours, Jake. Unless you're not
Okay.
done, Anthony.
Go ahead, you little stinker.
Sorry. Yeah. So where I was going with my idea was, I thought he took over the writing of this book. Like the conquistador storyline was in the book. Obviously, that's kind of like the most obvious part. Like that's her writing the book, but she asked him to finish it. So him finishing it was, they had a conversation about the book starts in Spain but ends out in that space place. So him in space is essentially him writing the last chapter of how he was able to plant her in the ground and she became part of this tree that was life, and him staying with her all the way to the end of time to eventually bring her back to that nebula, and then
So he
they
ended the
combust.
book in space?
Yes. But this is only a new theory of mine. My original theory was that he just discovered the how to cure death, so he never died. But what was part of it was that tree. Somehow that tree became the cure. So he was just always eating off the tree, and that's how he never died. So it's like once he was getting sick, he would just eat part of the bark, and that would keep him alive, and that kept them going all the way into space. So that was just like Hugh Jackman alive for like 500 years. And that's why like all the tattoos he had were the years marked off. Like that was all the tattoos on his arm. That's the time that passed.
So you're
it
saying
was
that he found the cure like he did in the regular story, and
yeah.
then he stayed alive for a while and somehow like transferred the cure into this.
You're saying
tree?
he stayed
Yeah.
alive for like hundreds, if not
Yes.
thousands of years.
Yes, to essentially grant his wife's wish of
Shabolba.
visiting Shabolba. She wanted to go visit Shabolba, so he planted the seed in her grave, and that she became that tree. And
I like this.
because she
I
told
like
a
this.
story about
Her dad.
her dad like someone was planted by a tree and then they became part of the tree. So she wanted the same thing to happen to her, and then the whole tree of life thing, that's the symbolization of this also tree. So he was able to maybe implant whatever cure he had into this tree some way or another. That part's unclear, but it seemed like he was eating the tree
Well,
to stay alive.
the cure, when he made the cure, he made it from the tree. Remember, he was like,
oh, that's
"There's
right.
a tree in the whatever. We'll use that." And they're like, "It's a fucking tree." And he's like, "Just do it."
Yeah, so he planted another tree and she became that tree. And so she in the tree kept him alive into space. And then eventually they hit the star and then they all died together.
But he's like hallucinating, seeing her and shit.
Yeah,
That
and
was
it's
part of it.
and everything, it basically the whole movie other than that stuff is flashbacks of him regretting missing time with her and him just working in the laboratory and him it's all that stuff was a flashback. So the story is a flashback within the flashback, essentially. The conquistador shit's a flashback within the flashback, if that makes sense. It's
So
the story
when
within the
he
flashback.
found the tree that he drank the sap from. Was that her?
Yeah, I think it was like a symbolically her, but that
Wasn't actually.
wasn't
Well,
actually her. That
supposedly
was just
that
part of
was-
the story.
I mean, that was like Adam and Eve, wasn't it? Where she drank like from like she fucked with the tree or whatever. Didn't he say that in that? That like it's the tree from the Garden of Eden. It's one of there was
I
two
don't
trees
know
in the
if
Garden
that
of
one-
Eden.
I
Yeah,
just know
it
that
was
a tree
the tree of life, which was hidden. It wasn't the tree
Yeah.
that they ate from.
She ate an apple off of the tree. What was that? What tree was that?
That was a different tree. It's
That
like
was that was a
tree
different
of
thing.
Fucking silliness.
That was Satan's serpent
That
tree.
was Satan's serpent tree, dude.
Yeah.
Word.
Came out
All
like
right. Well,
SST.
serpent.
I like that interpretation. Actually, I never thought of her as the tree. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that was my original thought the whole time. And then now I kind of was thinking that the future part is just the ending of the book. But I like my other theory more. I like my old theory that that's he survived. That's the future. She's the tree of life. They die together in this space thing because that was her
He
final wish.
eats from her and
Yeah.
then becomes. So let's talk
And
about
that
the ending.
stays alive. Yeah,
Well,
he
hold on.
stays alive.
I wanna talk about what I think it was.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like that, I guess. So I obviously all the conquistador shit is her book. That's the story she was writing. It
Mhm.
just happens to
Right.
coincide with exactly what he's doing in real life with her, trying to find
Yeah.
eternal life
I don't
and
think it
not
happens.
die.
I think she's writing that for a purpose.
Well, that's what I'm
He's
saying.
basically trying to tell him.
They coincide in that way of like she's doing that to say what you're doing is it's a timeless story. Someone's trying to find the cure or let their love live forever, whatever the fuck you want to say. So I think that
I think important to that is he's not spending time with her. I think that's
Sure.
That's the
sure, but you get that right away because you feel bad for her because she's obviously he's just mean to her the whole time, which is fucking I hate that. It made me so mad. I think that the whole space thing is just another form of him existing, trying to find in some way the thing that he's been searching for, or like Shabolba, or the fucking thing that's gonna rejuvenate the planet or whatever the fuck it is. I think the end of the book, I think he writes the part where they find the fucking thing in the, and then because doesn't he go up against the Mayan guy in the temple, and the guy like bows down to him because he realizes he's like the guy or something.
Yeah.
I think that's the ending he wrote. I don't think he wrote any more than that. I think that was just him realizing that like he's got to just accept things and like he's got to just go with it and live every moment to the fullest. And I don't think that the space part really coincides at all with any true meaning of the rest of the movie. I think it's just there.
You think it's just there?
I do. I don't think Aronofsky connects it in the way that we think he does. Like, I don't think that the tree is her. I don't think that.
I don't know. I think he's got to have some sort of
I don't know, man.
connection. You can't just be like, that's just a thing.
After listening to him talk about it, man, I don't think that's what it is.
I agree with. I don't think he put enough thought into it, but it's got to be. It is connected. I mean, it is connected. He sees her up there.
He sees her, yeah, but
I
I don't
think
think
that-
the
I
tree
think
is her.
Her
I don't know
up
about
there.
the tree.
I think
being
that's just the memory of her. I think that's all
Yeah.
that is.
Seeing
He
her,
just
right?
kind of losing his shit. He hallucinates. He sees her. The memories of her death still haunts him.
I like
And I
your
think
interpretation,
that
Jake,
shit's
to
been
where
haunting him
since he
forever.
found the cure, but this is the thing: he found the cure for whatever she was sick with.
But then
Did
he
he
started
find the
talking.
cure for death?
He started. That's what
No,
he said at the end. He's like, "We need to stop dying. I'm gonna cure it."
He
He
did
said
say
something
that.
along those
He
lines.
did.
Of he's
He
gonna
said
cure
death is a sickness and it has to have a cure.
So I
Yeah.
think that was his next obsession, and he figured it
I
out.
think that whatever that tree was that they found that they put in the medicine, that I don't think that tree was specific to her sickness. I think that tree, whatever that sap was I think they found like a cure all. Like I
Yeah.
don't think because he was, remember they were like, remember that tree from whatever from the South America, like
Yeah,
put
there you
that in
go.
there. That was the whole thing. Remember that?
So that was the sap.
So I
But
think
see,
I
that's
think
what-
that I
sap.
think that was more than just curing her sickness. I think he thinks that could cure everything.
Okay.
I could see that.
All right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
But the
without tying to that,
story
then.
really is about him finishing her story, though, right? It's called The Fountain.
That is a big part of it. I know that's sort of where that was where
beginning
where
and the
my
end.
mind started going with it, of like he maybe wrote that part, but I also think maybe he wrote the part about the sap and then the guy becoming the plants, because she was all about how death becomes life in that sense, how like your body goes back to the earth, and maybe that's why he kind of wrote that part in, and like he was able to find the secret tree and the sacred tree there, and that cured him of his obsession, just making him die and go back.
Yeah,
to
because that was the conquistador that drank from the tree and then became the
yeah,
no,
that was
or
the
was no
conquistador.
or was it him from the future?
No, it was the conquistador, but I think that was him writing. That was maybe his. I think that was his ending.
Okay, so
That's
that
what he
didn't
wrote
actually
in.
happen to him. That was just a story.
But it's symbolic of the tree that saved,
I get
that would have saved her, and it's the
What about
tree
all
that
the-
he planted at her grave.
What?
What
How
about all
did
the-
it end? With him planting the seed, or with him becoming the plants?
Ended with him drinking the sap, and then the plants grew out of him, and then the giant raindrop goes into
Exploded.
explodes into.
And then I think it's the planting of the seed. I think that's the last thing we see, him planting the seed.
Oh no, because he goes to her grave. You're right. He goes
Yeah.
to her grave, and
that's the last
and
thing.
he plants it. Yeah.
Yeah. I
You're
think
right.
we see the guy doing the sap thing. We see Shibalba exploding, and they all explode together. They die together, and then it goes back to present day of him planting the seed. And I think that's what starts the journey of the space shit.
No,
I don't.
I
don't
think
see that though.
I think
don't
that's
see
the
that.
end. I think he finishes the story, and him planting the seed is just closure of the story's finished.
So then,
She's
what's the
gone.
space part?
The space part was, I mean, back to my theory, it's just him trying over and over.
But how does
Buddhism
he?
thing.
How does he exist there in that being by himself with that tree? Like, how did he get there?
He's probably it's one of billions of raindrops with billions of trees with billions of dudes trying to figure out their shit.
Just dude trying to figure shit out.
What?
Like a multiverse.
They're just floating through space.
Oh, what do
I
you
don't know.
think?
I
What do
feel like
think,
you got-
Buddha. Like, well, I just keep going back to Buddhism because of all the symbolism in it.
I
But
mean, there are symbolism though.
I'm
but
not arguing
explain the
that it's not.
tattoos.
I'm not arguing that it's not Buddhist.
the
Like, it's
tattoos,
definitely Buddhist.
those he's using the pin to. What do you mean? Explain them. Like, what? Are,
Also,
like, what do
the
they
dude,
symbolize?
the dude in space had the same. He had the ring finger tattoo,
He had the
which,
Yeah.
tattoo, yeah.
which he gave himself. So that implies that that was him in space, and all of the
The
other fucking
tattoos
rings
is every time
all
he's
around
tried.
his body. That. I mean, that's an interesting theory, but
But
I just
doesn't
in
make that
order-
doesn't that makes less sense to me. I guess
In order
but
for me
my
to
shit doesn't exactly make
actually,
sense either.
yeah, none of
in
it
order
makes
for me
sense.
to believe that that's still him in space, I need to know how he got there. I need to know
He-
how he got into that.
That's
discovered
default.
it. He
Think of that
discovered
as
the
default. When
death.
if he dies, that's where he goes, and then he comes
Yeah.
back, he tries again.
Oh, so you're saying that's like kind of like purgatory?
Sure. Yeah. Exactly.
No, I think
So
that's-
basically,
that's
he's gonna
future
get
him,
another
dude.
shot at saving her again.
That's the afterlife in my theory.
Man, I don't know. All right.
No, they're good. They're in space so they can be together and die together.
Yeah, but we don't know they're in space. We just see.
That's where he's
Well,
going. He's going to the Zabulba.
The giant raindrop is in space for
Yeah,
sure.
it's
Yeah,
a
but what is
spacecraft going to
space?
Zabulba.
What is
We're all in
space?
What is
The
space.
things that
space up
exist
there, or
We're in
space?
space.
Like,
Space
where
is
does
space.
space go? Is
The-
he in the universe?
They're on
or
their
is he in
way
the multiverse?
to
Unfortunately,
Zabulba.
3 of us cannot answer that
No,
question.
nobody knows. Nobody can answer that question. Nobody know.
Bulba.
Like it's
For sure.
the universe is
The answer's
infinite.
Zabulba.
That he could be in the
What is
infinite,
the
which is
Bulba?
where fucking Buddhists go. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe he's just in a dream and it's all a dream.
You guys
It
explain
was
the
all a
tattoos then.
dream.
I got explanations for the tattoos. You guys
Yeah,
ain't got
I
shit.
get your
Yeah,
explanation
you do.
for the
I do
tattoos.
too. They're
And
they're attempts.
All
they-
right, that's true.
The
Schwartz.
explanations work, like they work, but I just I don't know.
You just think it doesn't mean anything and it's just a random
I
part
think
of the
it
movie.
means something. I just don't think it's the same guy who's saving his wife. I don't think he's that guy.
Explain the finger tattoo.
Yeah. Explain how it is the same person though.
Finger tattoo.
If anything,
and he's
it's-
seeing the
if-
same shit he
If
experienced.
anything, it's him reincarnated. I'll give you that.
Maybe, but I think
Maybe it's just him in
Alright.
another reincarnation that in his mind he's still trying to do the same thing in a different capacity.
Because in the
I don't think
beginning it
he ever
shows
died.
him, bald head and everything in
Yeah,
that
and
world.
it
but then
literally
cuts
cut back to him.
with the hair, like in,
Yeah.
in the modern day. Like it
Like,
is.
it's flashbacks. It's definitely him.
It's no doubt him. Like that. I don't think there's a doubt about that. It's him in space.
Yeah, he's got the fucking
Sure, it's his
tattoos.
character, but I don't think he existed at the same. I don't think he was once the guy trying to save his wife. I think he's a different version of him
Why would he have the
think
same
is
memories
both
of his,
them
him and his
at the
wife
same
in bed?
time.
because he knows that that's his mission, but he's never existed there. Like the part of him that exists in that raindrop never
weird.
existed on Earth. You know what I mean? It's like a reincarnated version. Yeah, his mission is to save everything, right? Even in the raindrop, he's trying to get to Shabulba so that it reignites everything.
Yeah, because he's still alive. It's the same guy.
I don't think that's the same. guy.
500 years later.
No, I don't. You have no.
I feel like it's
explain
got
to me how he
more
got
than
there. then.
500 years.
Explain it.
too.
No, I think it says it in the little.
It
No,
says
it
500
never
years
says that.
later.
Does it
Never
not say
says
that?
that. The only
Okay.
time it ever gives
Then
you a
it's like-
timeline is when it shows you the Spanish Inquisition scenes.
Okay. I thought it says it.
Those Spanish
Some reason.
Inquisition scenes were pretty dope. They were fucking dark.
Because I thought, all right, well, I don't know why. In my head, for some reason, even I think it might be saying online, that to me it was everything was 500 years apart. Like there was 1500, then it was 2000, then it was 2500.
942 AD was when the Conquistador story was.
Nah, it wasn't 1500.
Nope.
What?
Look it up. It says it.
All right.
942
Then
AD.
I don't know what I was even. I don't know why I'm thinking what I'm thinking. Must be a different movie. But either who, you guys are crazy.
I mean, what I like about this movie is that it doesn't give you
I
a
do
plain
too.
explanation. Like, I don't think you need it. I don't think we deserve it. I don't think.
Conquistadors were in the 16th century.
And so that is 1500.
That's the 15th.
It was 942 AD. It said though. That's what it said. Like,
Well,
I
that's
don't
the
think it
movie.
says
It's
it.
fucking wrong.
I don't think
Okay,
the movie
well-
says that.
It does. Go back and watch it.
All right.
When in the very beginning it says
So I
that?
thought it
When
would
you
says
first-
all of the things like
when you
but
first
I
see
don't
the
remember correctly.
Conquistador and his dudes, yeah. It's
That's
like
the
you
first
see-
scene. That's like the
Yeah.
very beginning.
Yeah, that's when like he's about to charge that fucking temple or whatever. Which I loved this Conquistador shit. Like the whole thing with the knife with the map in it was pretty fucking cool. Like I thought that was pretty fun. I wish the whole movie was that, honestly.
So the time periods are in 1500, 2000, and 2500. So you're just wrong, Shorts.
All right, hold on.
Say
I'm
that
gonna-
again?
I'm gonna screenshot it.
There's 3 time periods in this movie: 1500, 2000, and 2500.
right. That's what I thought. Yeah. Where does it say that? Does it say? I just don't remember if it actually says it in like in characters on the screen. I thought it did, but I could.
I'm just reading.
I don't remember correctly.
I'm just reading about it right now. 1500 is what Rachel Weisz's The Fountain story is. 2000 is when they're he's the scientist, and 2500 is Tom Creo, as he's referred to in the credits, is now traveling in a spaceship of some kind with 3. That is so okay. So that changes things. Now
What does the internet say? He's in a spaceship.
that says he's whatever. Fuck the spaceship. Just knowing that those are the 3 different timelines. I think you're right, Jake.
Never died. He
I
just
like
figured
that.
out how to go through
So
space.
trying to save his wife, he found the cure to death, at least what can cure him.
Yes.
And
Well, they found the cure to the tumor for sure, or whatever that was.
Right, but
and-
that led him to probably
well, but
figure out the cure for death.
he obviously
The
found
cure-all theory is a good
well,
idea. I never thought about that.
He just found the tree. I think he just found the tree, and now he's traveling with the tree somehow through space. 500 years later, slowly killing it by eating it away, before he finds Shibolva.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because the tree was kind of dying as well.
It died right before
Yeah.
he figured everything out.
Yeah, Shibolba, that's right.
Basically, the story's about people killing things that they're trying to save, or letting things die while they're trying to save it, in a sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense. That connection's very true
Selfish. He is
to those two.
He's selfish. It's a selfish movie. Also, I don't think Darren thought about any of this. I think he just wrote a fucking weird story that he could put his wife in.
He wasn't.
No, it was
married
actually
before he wrote this.
It was already in production.
Oh yeah. I forgot.
Brad Pitt quit, and then when Brad Pitt quit, a bunch of studios pulled out, or the studio pulled out, or a bunch of investors pulled out, or some shit. That caused Kate Blanchett to quit, and then he met Hugh Jackman, who wasn't super famous back then.
I mean, he was already Wolverine.
True. I guess I don't know.
Early Wolverine. Nobody cares.
But he's been on the rise since this. Not necessarily because of this, but since this. And he liked the script, and it was Hugh Jackman that actually suggested that Rachel Weisz play the part, because Rachel Weisz was dating Aronofsky at the time.
Actually, he made this in
I don't know how to
Prestige,
play.
I think, back to back, which is kind of good.
That's
Similar dudes, similar shit.
I would kiss the Prestige on the mouth.
Yeah,
Prestige is pretty great.
Best movie ever made.
It's honestly, it's one of the best movies ever made, only because of how original it is and how you can't really compare it to anything else.
I mean,
Weird
you
one.
could compare it to the great Now You See Me and Now You See Me Too, but I guess those are the only two.
You really can't compare it. But
Yeah, they're just as good.
They're magic movies.
They are
You can also
not
compare
just
it to The
as good.
Illusionist.
They're not even close to as good.
But
The Illusionist.
they both make people disappear.
The Illusionist is almost as good, but not
The Illusionist was like the volcano to Dante's Peak, like the tornado
Right.
to.
We've
Twister.
talked about this before, and I think you guys need to watch
Yeah.
The Illusionist again because it's a really good movie, and it's got Paul Giamatti and Edward Norton. So
I don't know if I've seen it.
it's very
so
good,
I'm
very
gonna
very
check it
good.
out.
Yeah, overshadowed by the better magic. movie.
Probably.
I don't necessarily. Well, this is the thing. I think The Prestige is one of the best movies ever made. So I guess in the scheme of things, it's a better movie. But The Illusionist stands its own.
And they came out at the same time, right?
I think they came out like within the calendar year or two.
Yeah, something like that. Within a year for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it may have just like, I don't know. It's the Farrah Fawcett to Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
What's your guys' favorite scene in this movie?
The fountain. Probably the end.
I like the ending sequence. Like visually, it was probably the coolest because everything was pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, with the end in that he like beat the dude. Yeah, the whole from him going up the steps, fighting the dude, beating the dude, killing the dude, stabbing the tree, drinking the thing, becoming the earth, whatever. Shibolva exploding. Is it Shibolva or Shibolba?
Shibolba.
With a B?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the guy that owned Anakin Skywalker?
I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Or no. It was the guy. It was the Anakin. He was the other pod racer, the really good pod racer.
Bulba. Yeah.
Shibolba.
Sebulba. Yeah, you're right. You are right.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, that. I think that was just the most like that. It caught me off guard when he like started doing that. Like he started melting into the earth, and then the whole thing exploded.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, good damn.
That whole sequence is probably my favorite. What did you guys think of the cinematography? Because this was the thing that I thought when I saw this, it was really dope. But this time around, I don't know. Some parts were kind of questionable, like how it was weirdly like washed out at times, and then
Well, have you seen Mother?
yeah, unfortunately.
Mother kind of has the same cinematography in that way of it. Like some parts look like pretty specific, and other parts you're like, that's what they chose to do.
I guess they shot it in interesting ways, like the background, the space stuff, if you want to call it the
There are a
space.
lot of miniatures used in this movie to save money.
Yeah,
I read that
Like
as
it was
well. That they, rather than
micro
using
photography or something.
rather than using CG, they did like what is it called, micro photography? What, I don't even really know what that
Something
is.
like that.
So the
It's-
guy who DP'd this movie, DP'd most of Aronofsky's movies. His name is Matty Libatique, and he's done a lot of big shit. Actually, he's done a lot of Spike Lee movies, a lot of Joel Schumacher movies, all of Aronofsky's movies, I think, except for The Wrestler. Um, he's pretty good dude. He's like really punk rocky kind of guy. Like I just watched 8mm. He DP'd 8. Oh, actually no, not 8mm. Phone Booth. Phone Booth was a pretty sick movie.
With Paul, what's his
With,
name?
Oh,
Dead
so
guy?
it
Colin
wasn't
Farrell. Colin
Colin
Farrell.
Farrell.
Oh yeah.
Kiefer? Wasn't Kiefer in it? Kiefer's the
Sutherland?
voice.
Yeah, Kiefer's the voice.
Phone booth? Oh, I'm thinking of Cellular.
I never saw that.
Remember that movie?
No.
Maybe. Was that
It was
Halle Berry?
it was like cell phones were fairly new,
and they're
and
scary.
this guy got a call from a girl. He didn't know who it was, and she was just like, I'm being held hostage. I need help. She's like, I dialed a
Oh.
fucking this. And he's like trying, like, basically the whole thing is him trying to keep his cell phone charged. He's like
Okay.
stealing batteries from people and robbing Radio Shacks of chargers and shit.
This movie's about a guy who walks into a phone booth and answers the phone, and
They
then he
stay
can't,
there, right?
He can't leave, otherwise he'll get sniped.
That's rad.
Yeah,
There's ways out of that. You just got to move fast.
sure. Not like the kid from Game of
Fast.
Thrones. Fucking idiot.
Oh yeah, in the Battle of the Bastards.
Just duck and weave, my dude. Why would you just once you
go left.
stop, wait till he shoots it, go right, and you're
Yeah.
good?
Elysium, same thing.
Elysium.
Just go that way. It's coming at you. Go
What do you mean
that
Elysium? I don't remember that. What happens in Elysium?
way. Oh, I'm sorry, Prometheus.
What part in Prometheus?
The very end. She's the ship's falling down. She's running away.
Well, kind of. That ship was fucking huge. So, I mean,
But she's
I don't know.
running
Yeah.
linear
Yeah. Just go that way. You're right.
to a falling object that is only falling in this direction, really.
But the object was like
I
a
mean,
building.
Buster Keaton can stand in a window.
Yeah, but the object was like building size. So I don't know about that one.
I know. Run sideways.
I guess.
It's like getting caught in waves. Just
Have
go
you seen
there.
all of Aronofsky's movies, Anthony?
No, might be the only one. I've seen Mother, and I've seen a little bit of The Wrestler.
Mother.
You've never seen Black Swan or Requiem?
I've seen Black Swan. I've
You've never seen Requiem?
No.
Oof, Requiem's pretty fucking
It'd be yucky.
I heard
pretty.
it was bad.
Well, what do you mean? Like
I heard
bad
nobody
movie?
liked it. Just not a good movie.
No, it's
No, it's really good, but it's fucking
It's
yucky.
just,
Like you're watching it and you're like, ugh, like it's really, really good.
disturbing.
It's very disturbing.
Do they
Really
all
cool.
end in these kind of wacky ways?
Mother does, Black Swan does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
actually,
kind
now
of
you
say yeah.
do. Yeah,
How does
Yeah,
the
the-
Wrestler?
him
Wrestler ends with him just returning to glory and jumping off the rope and just fades to black.
Well, it's him almost having like a heart attack in his return match because he was essentially told he can't wrestle anymore because he had a heart attack. And then he did a return match and out of basically because he realized he has really nothing else good going in his life. So he just did a return match. Questionably, did he have a heart attack during this match? Because he just kind of was like, seems like he was going to. Then he jumps on, does his finisher off the top
So he
rope,
might
and
have
then it
died.
just cuts
Yeah,
the light. So
it's true.
yeah,
He
he,
might have
he was
died.
maybe having a heart attack, and it just
Yeah.
kind of leaves that open.
That's
And
how Black Swan ends, with her dying.
yeah, so essentially
she
a lot of
turns
his
into a
movies
swan.
are pretty fucking open.
Kinda, yeah.
I think.
What do you mean, kinda?
Kind of.
She
And Mother was just fucking
starts
weird.
sprouting feathers and
Well,
turns
yeah,
into
but
a swan.
that's in her head though. That's all fake.
Is it?
Yes.
Do you think this was better than Mother, or you think Mother was better than Fountain?
I think this is better than Mother.
I actually really liked Mother. I think Mother is a pretty.
Mother's yucky.
It's yucky, but it's not bad. Like it's really good in my opinion. I really like Mother. I think Mother's better than this.
Good.
Why do people make movies like this, Schwartz?
What do you mean?
Like
because
Mother.
They can. Because he
Like
can.
like any of why does Aronofsky what is his why
deal?
does he make movies like this?
I think because it's what interests them. I think it's the same reason why David Fincher makes fucked up movies, or David Lynch, or Harmony Korine, or anybody who's got something
Harmony
to say.
Korine is a full-blown idiot. Let's be real.
Oh, I mean, he's as good of a filmmaker as these guys? No fucking way. But he still makes pretty interesting singular vision movies.
Not a fan.
I mean, he's all right. He didn't direct his best movie. His best movie was Kids, and he only wrote it. So, Beach Bum was kind of shitty. I
That
liked
was his first-
Gummo.
Kids was his
awesome.
first movie, wasn't it? That's what
Well,
got him on
he
the
wrote
map.
it. Yes, Larry Clark directed it, but
Yeah.
Kids got him on the map. Gummo was actually pretty interesting. He directed that one. Like,
That's the one that's like that
That's fucking weird.
unnecessary.
Yeah,
It is
that
unnecessary.
doesn't need to be a
categorize that
thing.
into the unnecessary realm of movies.
Yeah,
like Caligula.
It's just like
that's true. Gummo was just weird looking people doing weird shit. That's all it seemed like it was.
Sure,
I
but
guess.
I
don't know.
think
Did you guys ever
Aronofsky's-
study?
hold on though. Aronofsky's obsessed with like themes, like life, death, the darkness inside of people, the determination side of people to do what they want to do and not give a fuck about anybody else and what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's like
Obsession guy.
it's like he's obsession. Yeah, it's kind of like Polanski in that way. A lot of Roman Polanski's movies were kind of like that, and they were all pretty dark. I think Aronofsky also, you know what's crazy about Aronofsky that I don't know if you guys know this, you might have because you might have read it, and it's kind of well known, is that before Nolan made his Batman movies, he was going to make Batman movies with Clint Eastwood as Batman.
Clint Eastwood?
So
Oh,
there's
what?
Batman timeline where Batman's old, like fucking old, and Nightwing and new people have kind of taken over, but Batman is still doing his thing. And this was 1999 Clint Eastwood, so it was still Clint Eastwood at like 60, where he could have still been Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is like Space Cowboys, Clint Eastwood.
Exactly. And he was going to be Batman, and there was going to be like a multiverse, and the other Batman was going to be Joaquin Phoenix, which would have been kind of
Dude,
I
I
would've-
think
I
they're
would've
I think
canceled
they're trying to do
Aronofsky.
that shit now. 'Cause
Cancel
I heard
Aronofsky.
something about Keaton's coming back as Batman,
Keaton is in
And-
Batgirl.
and I think it's like going to exist in the same universe
Multiverse.
as the current Batman.
What
but
they're
in-
doing
Well,
is
I
what
also
Marvel's
heard-
doing.
I heard
Marvel's
Pattinson's
making
done.
Marvel's making a
Oh,
multiverse so that
word?
they can just keep introducing new characters, not have to explain where the X-Men were during Thanos' reign. You know what I mean? They're just gonna be like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a multiverse.
Pattinson's
And
done.
you guys
though?
are gonna watch
Sorry.
every fucking movie.
Pattinson's not done.
Yeah.
I promise you, Pattinson's not done.
I think he's
I would
done.
be surprised.
I think I read he was done, and Ben's
No.
coming back.
No, that's not how it happened.
I
Ben,
think there's
that's
just going
the
to be a
thing.
fucking
That's
like
what-
7
that's what-
Batmans at once.
That's what DC's doing. They're
And they're
making it so that
multiverses.
they're making it so that every movie can have a different actor as Batman, and it won't matter.
Yeah, but that's why Pattinson's done.
No, Pattinson is
Help
definitely
him
not done.
out.
I think he's done, dude.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the Gotham City TV show.
I talked to him. He said he was done.
I haven't watched a Marvel movie since Endgame, so I don't know about what's going on.
You
in
guys
that.
need to just get off the Marvel tit.
Well, I
they're
can't get off the Taika tit, so I'm gonna watch the new Thor.
fun.
They literally like the only reason they make these movies is so they can keep the contract. That's the only reason they make these fucking movies. They have to come
but
out with a movie every
the
fucking
Marvel
year,
movies, the
or they
new
lose
Marvels.
the license.
I'm not gonna lie, the new Marvel movies, their timeline and their story, they're done pretty damn well. They're very entertaining. Their DC doesn't hold up, but the Marvel ones do.
It's just when you know like the motivation behind why they do what they do, it takes a lot out of it and also makes it
Well,
lame. Like
I mean,
like,
I don't know about
you
that.
understand
Anthony,
why
every-
the movies are so shitty.
every movie's made to make money in the studio's eyes, so kind of every movie's like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't watch their fucking movies.
But the Marvel ones that I've seen, which is the first 3 phases, their storylines and their characters and their story arcs are very, very good. DC, not so much. I mean, the Nolan movies exist in their own universe and they were great, but like I'm a fan of the Tim Burton ones too, but the Ben Affleck, Zack Snyder universe was doo-doo.
Zack Snyder should just call it quits.
He's making a new
Agreed.
Netflix movie right now about a moon war or something.
Well, I think he should just
Yeah.
leave the comic book world alone.
well, I think he's done with DC. I don't think anybody's gonna let him.
Are
handle
those
DC.
zombie movies he did any good? Did he do like a zombie?
The zombie one he just did was
solid?
pretty good. Yeah, I liked it.
Okay. Good.
Did you guys see the new Massive Talent?
Yes, saw it yesterday.
Oh, it's great.
It's great.
It's really good.
Yes.
Don't tell me anything. I wanna
By
see
the
it.
way, The Northman,
not
crazy
not
movie.
that good.
crazy movie. No,
Terrible.
it was good. It was good.
All right,
It
don't
was
say
fucking
shit.
crazy.
Don't say shit.
Talk about singular vision. You feel like
Don't
you're watching a
say-
poem.
Okay, you're saying shit. Don't say anything.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we could still talk about this movie.
Oh yeah, true. Where were we?
So where do you rank this in your Aronofsky movies, Jake? And what are your Aronofsky rankings? Since Anthony hasn't seen any of them, he can't really speak to it.
Sounds like Anthony's seen.
I
it,
would
but he's
watch
a
Black Swan over
liar.
this.
Yes. Well, Black Swan is his best film.
Let me take a quick look at his IMDb.
Hold on,
Black
let me
Swan.
think
I
about
mean,
it.
I've
Black
always
Swan.
liked this one.
Requiem and The
I've
Wrestler.
seen this more
are
than Black
his,
Swan.
His best films.
I remember actually watching Black Swan, and the end of it, I was pissed
Why? Because of the way it ended.
because of the way I just thought it was fucking. It was just a really shitty way to end it.
I don't know
But
how
I
else it
didn't
could have
feel
ended,
that way
though.
about this movie. The way
I
this
don't know
movie
how
ended,
else
I was
Black
pretty
Swan could have
stuck.
ended, though. I mean, how else could it have ended? She just.
Of her
Does it
hallucinating,
have
turning
to-
into a swan.
That's not how it ends. It ends with her killing herself.
As like a swan. though.
Debatable.
Like that.
No,
That's
no.
the end sequence.
No, there's a dream sequence where she turns into a swan. The last end sequence is her dancing the black swan perfectly and realizing that she stabbed herself. So when she does the final move, she dies.
It's dumb.
Yeah, that movie sucked, dude.
That
I take
movie's
it back.
so
Fountain's
good.
better than that movie.
That movie's so
I'll
fucking
say-
good. And the cinematography is fucking epic.
This is probably my
Probably the
favorite
best
Aronofsky
handheld
movie.
cinematography of all time.
I'm going
This
this
is
one.
probably my
over.
favorite one.
That's
I gotta
crazy.
go with this one.
What's your
then
ranking?
me, this one, and then probably Requiem because it was very effective.
So
or-
effective.
And
But
then-
you think somebody watch that a kid watched Requiem today? You think it would be as effective?
Yes. Yes.
I don't
have-
think so.
Yes, Anthony. Watch this. Have you ever name a movie that you watch where you're like, ugh, you're just like it oozes ickiness.
It's
or
pretty
oozes
wild.
Something that doesn't sit well with you?
Requiem's the whole evolution sequence, right? That was that.
No, no, that's Tree of Life.
Oh,
Yeah, Requiem for a Dream is about a bunch of drug addicts in New York City.
copy you. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Requiem is absolutely. You're thinking about the Terrence Malick movie Tree of Life.
Yeah, that is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no,
I'm
this-
thinking
this.
that.
This,
Dream
this
is
stars
different.
Jennifer Connelly, Jared Leto, Damon.
All right,
Wayans.
all right. Might be.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
yeah, very good movie. And
I'll watch
the chick in this movie, the older lady, his boss, she plays one of the main characters who gets addicted to speed, and you just see how her life just unravels to shit. It's pretty crazy.
He's the wild one.
Have you guys
Yeah,
ever
it's a
tried
crazy movie.
speed? What is
Uh,
speed?
I think it's just like an
Crack?
upper, right?
Crank?
I mean, it's like diet medicine and shit like that. I think it's like a
Well, that's what
a
she gets
open
addicted to in the
term.
movie. She gets addicted
Yeah.
to the diet.
Yeah, I remember
pills.
I think-
Fen.
Adderall you can call speed.
That's
you
what
know,
I was
don't
thinking
know.
of. Adderall, yeah.
Remember
That's
Fen? That was like it was like
It was like a
Adderall and
diet
something
diet
else, and
medication or something.
it was a diet medication.
I think this is.
but
that's
it was
kinda what
basically
she got
meth.
addicted to in this movie. Yeah, I think.
I
That's
mean, all of them.
Because the
are
lady
same.
started just losing her mind in the movie, and essentially because she was like addicted to this crazy shit.
Yep.
So it's a
It
good
Jared
just-
movie.
Leto's fucking arm gets cut off because he
They-
gets infected.
Yeah.
come out with these drugs.
Spoilers.
And they're like, "This works,"
And
this
then
is doing this, and
the
then
Jennifer-
they
the-
realize that it's only
Don't
working
don't
because it's
tell 'em
fucking-
The
the
Jennifer
fucking movie
Connolly
spoilers.
scene.
Don't tell 'em.
Fuck.
Yeah,
movie's
yeah.
spoilers.
Relax. I
You
want
ain't
to
gonna
watch this
watch
movie.
it. You ain't gonna
Shut the
watch it.
fuck up! I will mute you right now.
You ain't gotta watch it.
All right. And then I'd say The Wrestler #3.
So what is your
There you go.
list? It's the Fountain,
Fountain
Black Swan-
Fountain, Requiem,
and then
The Wrestler, then probably Black Swan.
Okay.
Black Swan is a little bit too.
Black Swan's all right.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
again.
fine.
I think about it in a way where I'm just like, yeah. remember the rapper that sang put some dubs on it, like that, gonna put some D's on it, like, you know,
Put some
remember
Ds
that
on that
song,
bitch,
put some
that song?
D's on that thing. Yeah.
Sure.
I remember listening to him, and I grew up kind of like playing music and loving musicians and loving like music theory, and or even just like theory of how they came up with their songs. And I remember listening to this dude. They're like, so how'd you come up with that song? Put some D's on it. And he was like, man, I was just coming out of the dealership and I saw a car and I was like, man, we should put some D's on that thing. And I just wrote the song. And in my head, I was like, that's the lamest fucking way to ever come up with a song. And there's no meaning behind it. There's no like heart behind that song at all. He's just like, oh, I saw a thing and I did this and I did this. And that is how I think Aronofsky makes movies.
I mean, I can't speak to it because I'm not Aronofsky, but I think that from having listened to Aronofsky talk, he's very intelligent. He's a very highly intelligent person. So I definitely think that there's a lot more to it than just that. I think it's one of those things where he doesn't give a fuck if you
I've
think
listened
of that
to
or not.
interviews with him too, and I don't feel the same way.
Oh no, he's very, very intelligent.
I know that is your opinion, but I've
okay.
watched interviews as well, and I mean, intelligence one thing, but like the depth of how, like, it just seemed like there wasn't enough. It just seemed like the movie was just a whatever to him, you know. And like,
I promise you, the movie wasn't a whatever. He spent a lot of time thinking about every aspect of this movie.
Maybe.
Promise. No,
I mean,
for
he directed
sure.
it.
Look, got rewritten
Exactly,
a bunch of times, and
exactly.
it changed a lot, I guess. So
What's crazy?
I don't think
is
this
that
was. I don't know if
between-
this was his original vision. I'm curious what his original idea for this movie was, because it was supposedly a very different film.
Between this movie and Requiem, because this was his third movie, was 6 years. He didn't make a movie for 6 years in between.
Well, I think all the production fuck ups with this movie,
Yeah.
it got delayed, I think, like 3 different times or something for like 3 years or something.
Yep.
So
Okay, so we all agree this movie sucked.
I like this movie. I like all Aronofsky's movies. The only Aronofsky movie I don't like is Noah. Noah was a piece of shit.
Yeah, no, it wasn't very good. I didn't like Mother.
Making movies, making songs, and fighting around the world.
Pie's interesting. I liked
Pie's
Pie.
great. Pie's great.
Did you like The Wrestler?
Noah is what's his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Russell Crowe.
Come on, Tugger.
Yeah.
I just
What do you like about The Wrestler, Schwartz?
What do I like about The Wrestler?
Yeah.
I mean,
How it's
that's
shot.
it's shot very well. It's shot just like Black Swan, but I think that's Mickey Rourke's best performance he ever gave, honestly.
Name your top 3 Mickey Rourke movies.
Sin
'Cause
City.
I can only name one. Oh,
Sin
no,
City,
Sin City.
The Wrestler.
I mean, Sin City is legit.
It's a great
He's
movie.
great in that.
He is great in that. But
I
he's
guess he
better in
gives
The
a much
Wrestler.
more nuanced performance in The Wrestler.
Yeah, he's really good in that. And man, I don't know if I've ever seen another fucking movie that I can think of that stuck with me. That he made, because he kind of had a really early career in like the 70s and 80s and early 90s. Then he fell off for like a decade.
What's Mickey Rourke's top 4 on IMDb, Jake?
Outsiders.
It's Sin City, The Wrestler, and wasn't he a movie called like 8.5 Weeks or something?
9.5 Weeks. Yeah.
9.5 Weeks.
That's a super sexual movie. And he was also
he was recent.
Angel Heart. He was in too. He was also in Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
I'm opening up the. I'm pulling up the IMDb right now.
What was he in Once Upon a Time in Mexico?
The lawyer. He had the Chihuahua.
Oh yeah.
The Chihuahua.
That's a great movie. Let's talk Robert Rodriguez for a second.
Sin City, Wrestler, Angel Heart, Iron Man 2. I forgot he was.
Oh yeah, he was the villain in Iron Man 2. I forgot about that.
Top 15 Robert Rodriguez movies. Go.
15? I don't think he's read 15 movies.
Perfect. So all of them ranked.
Top 3? Number 1's got to be Desperado, right?
Does it?
My
Once Upon a
favorite
Time in Mexico.
My favorite
pretty
directed. My favorite movies from Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn for sure. Actually,
number 1.
I'd say from Dusk Till Dawn, Desperado, Sin City.
Spy Kids.
Follow closely.
It's hard.
By,
it's hard to say anything.
Follow closely by Once Upon a Time in Mexico and the Faculty.
Spy Kids too.
No, The Faculty.
Oh yeah,
he directed The Faculty.
I forgot about that.
Really?
About that shit.
I've
you
seen
know,
that movie a bunch of times.
do you know what's a sleeper Robert Rodriguez movie? Alita Battle Angel. Pretty fucking great movie.
And I'd seen it. Not a fan.
Pretty great movie.
Yeah.
And
Spy
it was
Kids is
written
better
and
than
it was
that.
written by James Cameron.
I don't think I saw any
Never heard of
Spy
him.
Kids.
Spy Kids was good. Spy Kids, that's the thing about Rodriguez though, is like there's a lot of movies he's made that I would never watch, and those are some of them.
Oh, Machete.
Machete. That was a pretty good movie. Planet
Funny
Terror.
movie.
Planet Terror is actually another great movie.
Planetary is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great B movie.
Definitely Robert Rodriguez, Sin City, and then probably Desperado, I guess.
Desperado's pretty great.
Would be
For
the
Dust
top
Till Dawn
three
though
for-
too.
Hold on,
Yeah.
you just said Robert Rodriguez, Sin City, and Desperado. What did you mean the first one?
I meant
Dust Till Dawn.
yes.
Yeah, D
Yeah.
till D. I don't know. Planet Terror's up there.
It is up there.
It is. It's a good one.
Let's be honest. His best movie is probably Sin City when it comes to filmmaking, but it's definitely
Yeah.
not my favorite.
Sin City's like his Lord of the Rings.
I mean, I think Desperado is going to be what he's remembered for, but yeah.
El Mariachi.
All right. Well, where do you guys rank this in the scheme of our rankings?
Let's look.
This is what, number 96?
This would be 97 films.
97.
I gave this
97.
a 6.7.
That's actually pretty
That's
high
pretty
for your
good.
rankings.
I didn't hate the movie. That's pretty high. It's pretty high for me.
It is pretty high.
I got a spot.
Pretty high like City High.
You got a spot?
Let's see. I got a spot. Yeah, fuck it. I got a spot. 31.
That's
I'm going
smart.
31.
31, pretty good.
Ooh,
That's
that's a
higher than I
good
thought you would
ranking.
go.
56.
56 for short. So I'll switch that for you. I'm going to go 48, I think.
So
How's that?
48. Nice.
Yeah.
So Pig is raising on my scale.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Pig is slowly becoming one of my favorite movies of all time.
Interesting. I thought that movie was kind of to do.
The way it's
It
you gotta let
do?
it sink
I gotta
in. You gotta
watch it
watch
again. I gotta watch
yeah,
it
you
again.
definitely gotta watch it again. It's a great movie.
You know what?
man.
You know what about the one thing about that movie I remember now is thinking about it is it just a little underwhelming. None of the stakes were as high as they should have been.
Yeah, that was your argument.
I don't
you
think
wanted
that
him to
was
beat everybody up or something.
Not even beat
point
everybody
exactly.
up, but it would have just been like if he just decided not to care, the movie would have been over. There was nothing he was really doing.
Well, yeah, that could be any movie. John Wick. if
Nah,
he decided
not
to
really.
care.
There's
it would be
subplots
over.
in movies. There's missions in movies. There's like the Pig was good. I gotta watch it. You know, I gotta watch
The
it
movie
again.
was
I gotta
about
watch it
love,
again.
dude.
This was just
you wouldn't get it.
This was a
This movie was about love.
This movie was also about love. I'm a big fan
Fountain?
of love. I pick movies about love.
The Fountain was
loves you,
about
though.
I think obsession
I love love.
What's that from?
and
Everybody love
failure-
love. Sorry.
failure to see the bigger picture. That's what the Fountain's about.
Yeah.
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 The bigger
what was
picture
Mother
is
Mother
Love is-
about?
Love is
Can we
blind?
talk about that? What was Mother about?
I don't really remember.
Mother is a modern day take on Rosemary's Baby.
Kinda. Sure.
I remember it was
With
about like creationism
add
and
cult.
man and whatever. And
Actually, no. Rosemary's
like
Baby
that.
was a cult.
Rosemary's Baby was definitely a cult. Definitely.
So, yeah, that's
the
what it
only
was.
difference
People.
is like in Mother.
Rosemary's Baby was good though.
In Mother, like
no,
it
it's
was,
no, it's not.
Rosemary's Baby is an incredibly well made film. Incredibly well made.
It's
Film.
scary,
Should we
but
watch it? Should we
creepy.
make that?
Incredibly well.
Can we
made
make
film.
that a pick? We don't have a Polanski.
We don't.
You gotta watch something we haven't seen,
We
or when it's your birthday month, you can pick.
I
it.
re- I
movies
recently
you want.
I
Could
recently
not
only
tell you
saw
what Rosemary's Baby is about. I can
Except
tell
the
you
fact
how
that
it
you
ends.
hate it. Except that you hate it, and it's not a good movie. That's kind of weird.
I can
think we-
tell you
well,
how
I
it
think we can make an
ends
exception
and
for this
how
one.
I think it's dumb, but I could also rewatch it. I've seen them both once, So, but I think what I think. So,
Mother
I
was
wanna do.
definitely a lot more religious allegory than Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, I remember definitely had religious tones to it.
Yeah, it was definitely that's a lot of his movies do. Like this one, Mother and Noah are all very very religious.
Hail Satan.
Yeah. Noah very
His
literally out
newest
of the
movie,
Bible.
his newest movie that comes out in this end of this year, early next year, is called The Whale, starring Brendan
Yeah.
Fraser.
I saw that about
Yeah.
like being a fat piece of shit, right?
Uh-huh.
I watched a bunch of Brendan Fraser interviews with it. I thought it was already out. That's why I was like, why are we not doing this one?
Yeah, no, his last movie was The Mother. I think that was 2017.
I don't know.
Alright.
I think Mother was rad. I think Rosemary's Baby is a big piece of shit.
Man,
I go the other way on that.
But the thing about Mother is, it's the in a lot of ways, all his movies are is there's no in between. It's either I was a good movie or I hated that movie. That's really how Aronofsky is.
I don't know. Why do you gotta kill a baby?
And that, Schwartz, is called polarizing.
Yes, his movies are very polarizing, just like Fincher.
True.
So,
Yeah, they did kill the baby in that movie. That was crazy. I forgot about that.
Baby's got
Fuck,
to die.
that last 20 minutes of that movie is fucking epically rad. Kristen Wiig walking around with the guns just shooting people in the head. That was so sick. I was like,
Jesus.
what the fuck?
I gotta watch that
What is
again.
going on?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't even really remember it anymore, but I'm glad I don't. I
Jennifer
remember
Lawrence just
reading it
goes
with, like,
crazy,
leaving just like,
and
what
it's
the
like a
fuck is
giant
this?
rave in her house of all these disciples just doing fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Remember Passengers?
Yes, terrible fucking movie.
What? Really?
The
Terrible
one in
didn't like
I
that
mean, we're
movie?
all
Why
in
not?
space, but was that the one hit her and Pratt?
Yeah, terrible movie.
Not even like the reveal of why he woke her up and everything. Spoiler.
It's selfish.
Yeah,
Something
for
to
sure. But
yourself.
like that made it a terrible movie.
No, that was
I
fine.
feel like
I just
I
didn't
would-
like the movie.
I feel
thought
like
the
you
movie
saw
was
it
boring
coming.
and predictable. Yeah.
Kind of like knew it was a thing. I don't even remember it that well anymore.
I don't
I
really.
remember
I just
being
remember
underwhelming.
that reveal. I don't think I feel like I remember that reveal being heavier for me. I don't think I saw it coming.
You know what my thing is?
Maybe I
this is
knew
just
about
the
it or
thing with
something.
me
I
is
don't know.
I don't take Chris Pratt too seriously. He's kind of a one-dimensional kind of Mark Wahlbergy guy.
But J-Law, you like?
J-Law good. You know
J-Law
J-Law
good?
was banging Aronofsky when they made that movie?
Yeah, I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like that's his MO.
It kind of is. He's a manipulator. He's a smart motherfucker.
Wow, those two.
Or
that sentence was great.
a predator.
What I'm saying is that he knows how to get people to do what he wants them to do.
Right.
That's what he does.
Yeah, manipulator.
And if you listen to the commentary on The Fountain, which I did, he talks about how if you're a good director, you're an expert manipulator.
Yeah, you have to be.
Yes.
That
All
doesn't
right.
make you a good person.
That's
Well-
not the argument. That's irrelevant.
Not irrelevant, but
Yes,
you're right. Not
to
the
being a
argument.
good director, it's irrelevant.
Okay.
To be a good person is
You
not.
having that opinion doesn't surprise me.
Okay. Anyway, let's end it. How we ending it? Watch this movie. Watch all Aronofsky's movies.
What are we doing
Polarizing.
next? Do we got a next
I say,
one?
I say
The
skip
Northman,
Aronofsky.
baby.
I say skip
Northman?
Aronofsky.
All right.
He's overrated.
Oof. Bad
He's-
judgment on Anthony.
He's questionable.
Yeah, he's.
I mean, I
questionable.
gave this a 32.
He's like
but
or not like. He's like or not like.
polarizing,
That's
sure.
the thing. He's like or not like. That's what I'm cool with.
I like
this
this
is
movie.
this is in my
I
top
think-
third of movies.
I
so,
actually
but
think
that's
that being that way as a director is kind of awesome. Either they hate it or they love it. That's kind of dope.
Yeah, I questioned my pick of this one for an Aronofsky, but
Really?
I feel like I'm glad I did it now.
Now that I know
I feel
Anthony
like
hasn't
there
seen
was-
Requiem, I wish you would chose Requiem because it's way better.
I didn't really. Almost
I
assumed
thought
you saw
everybody
Requiem.
has seen Requiem.
Yeah,
That's like if you've seen you like Reservoir Dogs. You know what I mean?
because I haven't seen Requiem in so long. I don't even really want to. I don't know if I'd want to
You're
watch
comparing
Requiem again.
Aronofsky to Tarantino.
Requiem's like a
Requiem
one and done
is-
kind of movie.
Requiem is definitely as polarizing and hard hitting as any Tarantino movie. Yes.
You don't gotta watch that many times. I'm good. Fountain's
great,
like
though.
Fountain's like you get a little bit, little pieces here and there.
Fountain, you gotta watch
more
more.
you watch.
You know what
yeah,
Aronofsky
you
has
you
great
almost
too in his
need
movies?
to.
His soundtrack's always pretty damn good.
This was another one where I was like, I remember really digging the score, but this
I
time
love the
around, I
score.
was like, it seemed a little
I love it.
overdone.
Overwhelming.
I love science fiction scores. They're always pretty awesome.
So the
It seemed,
sound
like,
is
familiar or something.
the sound's definitely the lowest score I gave it.
Okay.
Clint Mansell is the guy who did the score. He's in a
Clint
lot of
Mansell?
movies. Clint.
I was very underwhelmed by the music.
Really, I like the music a lot.
Yeah, that score just seems so like familiar, right? We got Fontaine. That's pretty
Your
good.
5.5
highest score
on
was
the
acting.
score.
Okay. No, your highest score was the ending. Okay.
Yeah, highest score
Ending
was
was-
the ending.
ending
'cause
was
the
fun.
ending just
What
blew
was
my
your
goddamn
lowest
mind.
score? Was enjoyment.
Sound music.
No, enjoyment.
No, Sound and Music.
Enjoyment's a 6.1.
Yeah, but Sound and Music's a 5.5.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at 6.6. I didn't see that. My bad.
5.5. I was just nothing stuck with me. Nothing stood out to me. It was just kind of underwhelming.
I think a really cool part with Sound is when he comes out of the hospital after he realizes that she just had that attack and it's all quiet, and then he almost gets hit by the car. The music pops in again. I thought that was pretty dope. It's like he was just stuck in his head for a little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess clever use of sound versus like just overall.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't.
Alright, well,
nothing stood out to me on that.
Shout out to the Big Cat. He would love this movie. Everybody should watch all Aronofsky movies.
What are we watching next?
The Northman.
Huh?
The Northman.
So I gotta go to the movie theater.
Doing the theater.
Absolutely.
We'll wait till it's streaming. What's your second choice, just in case I don't go to a fucking movie theater?
Northman is it, baby. That's all we got. Definitely Northman, guys.
See, I'm the one who edits this, so I can cut your stupid voice out.
Northman.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't
Northman.
matter what you say.
Northman.
I'll introduce words. Every time
Northman.
you say Northman, I will say Toy Story.
Northman.
Kind of looks like Northman. Watch.
Northman.
I did.
Watch the Northman.
Which Northman? 4?